Yo, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your host that be doing the most, Mr. Too Good, and we back with another video. So pretty much Game Informer just dropped their big cover story, which is Armored Core, obviously, right? Sorry about that. Basically, they kind of went out to Japan and got a chance to go to FromSoft and actually look at their studios and look at some stuff for the game before anybody else did. So once they got all the stuff in a row, all their wonderful pictures and everything good to go, they went ahead and dropped the cover story for us. So this is new. If you don't know, this issue of Game Informer is actually free, so you can actually go on the website and actually review this this magazine, I guess, this issue. There we go. This issue for free, so you can go out there and check it out. It's pretty nice. It's cool. They have a lot of other games and stuff in the magazine. I always recommend Game Informer magazine and stuff. A lot of good information, a lot of good games, but this cover story for me does not really do anything. It doesn't really add anything. There's no really new information. You know, we could probably try to decipher some bits or whatever, but essentially, as you see here, set aflame by the industry. So yeah, like I said, Game Informer just pretty much went out to FromSoft in Tokyo and actually got a chance to go to their studios and get a behind the scenes look. It sounds like they actually got a look at something different than the rest of the people did at Summer's Games Fest. So I'm actually kind of interested in that. I guess a little bit different than some things, I'm not exactly sure, but just kind of what it seems like, you know, putting the pieces together and connecting the dots from what some people looked at Summer's Games Fest and then what they got a chance to look at. It still seems like they got a chance to still look at the overall, you know, big boss that we saw, whatever. So that's, you know, that's good. But other than that, yeah, not a whole lot in this article, honestly. I was expecting more. Me personally, I know some other people were expecting more as well. You know, you kind of over here get a chance to get a glimpse of some of the weapons and stuff like that, which is obviously cool. They got a bunch of screenshots and images on this magazine, and then this cover story as well, which is always good to look at and stuff like that. But you know, I know, especially after what we just saw at Summer's Games Fest, we were definitely looking for more, wanting more and stuff like that. And this unfortunately doesn't really do a whole lot. Yeah, the first part of this article is just pretty much talking about FromSoft and kind of like their history overall, and what else? Yeah, kind of like their history overall, how Armored Core has always been there and now they're kind of returning back to it. So I get it, you know, you're trying to, you know, this is probably more for the person who doesn't understand what Armored Core is and understand about FromSoft. They kind of give like this generalized introduction, which is cool. But you know, for a hardcore fan such as myself and for a lot of other people, yeah, it doesn't, this, like I said, it doesn't really do anything. Like, yeah, they just cover history, a little brief history of Armored Core and some of the FromSoft games and stuff like that, and talking about, oh yeah, the season of Armored Core began in 2017. As you see here, the following year, Miyazaki and a small group of members were building prototypes. So yeah, pretty much stuff we kind of already know as hardcore members. Essentially, you know, Miyazaki was on the start of it, and then he kind of left and handed the reins over to the director of Yamamura, to the director of Sekiro, sorry, and he kind of let him just take it from there. So yeah, you know, stuff we already kind of knew. Nothing, not a whole lot. There are some interesting quotes and stuff in here from the game director himself, just saying essentially, you know, they acknowledge the weight and the burden of Elden Ring, and they want Armored Core to be a good game as well. So they're definitely putting in, you know, all their best foots forward and putting in a good faith effort to make sure this is a good, solid FromSoft game, even though, you know, nothing's going to ever kind of live up to Elden Ring. Essentially, I think everybody can acknowledge that Elden Ring is love it or hate it, that game is probably one of the biggest games that came out. It was the biggest game that came out last year, game of the year. You know, people are already talking about it's probably going to be one of the greatest games of all time, definitely in the top 10, top 5 even. Hear that a lot. But essentially they want Armored Core 6. FromSoft wants Armored Core 6 to be good, right? They exactly are saying things like, yeah, it's scary elements, but you just have to steer yourself. All right, well, let's make this one count as well. Essentially, it's like, yeah, we need to make sure this counts, right? So it's good. It's good to see them talk about that. Honestly, I don't think FromSoft has made a bad game in kind of forever now. You know, you can kind of look at the Souls series and pick and choose whatever you want or whatever, but yeah, yeah, what, you know, there's some other little bits we can probably pick out of this as well. Let me see here, what was I looking at? Yeah, Soulsborne's games. Yeah, so the scale, they kind of compared the map, like one of the map sizes for Armored Core is going to be kind of comparable to Bloodborne, so one of the maps of Bloodborne as well. So that, you know, that gives you kind of generalized idea of like how big a kind of map or level is going to be, and things you can kind of expect from that, you know. Yeah, they had a different location, was the Central Ice Field, which is apparently pretty significant to the game story. They got a chance to see a little bit of the prologue, which is cool. And what else is on here? Yeah, omnidirectional. Yeah, they talk about, yeah, that stuff we already knew. A lot of her FromSoft games are a lot of, you know, horizontal, but this game adds the verticality to it, so which is obviously going to be a big deal. You know, we already kind of talked about. Yeah, depending on loadout, you can use your arsenal of shields, melee weapons, and ranged rifles to eliminate foes. You know, aspect of controlling mech instead of humanoids is the ability to perform many of these actions simultaneously. So yeah, going back to that simultaneously things that we saw in the previous interviews and quotes and stuff like that, like, hey, be prepared to activate all 4 of your things at once. They even talked about in this article, sometimes that may be really applicable as far as dealing with some bosses and stuff, because, you know, this is still a FromSoft game, right? So one of the things they learned over the years is, you know, these big bombastic boss battles, the chorus singing in the background, giant move swings, and, you know, us as a player that's having to live, die, and repeat, essentially. Okay, cool, let me understand this boss's moves. Cool, let me go die a couple times. Now let me change what I need to do, go back out there, die a couple more times, let me change some more stuff, memorize some more patterns. All right, cool, and now we're good to go to move on after we beat the boss and stuff like that. You know, those high highs and those low lows is kind of the semi Souls aspect, but not a Souls game. They state that, and that is clear from the game director himself. He mentions a couple times in this article as well, like, hey, it's not Elden Ring. This is a little bit faster pace, a little bit different. Yeah, they talk about customizable parts a little bit as well. Some stuff we kind of already knew. 12 customizable areas, which is really good to look at. You got, where is it at? Yeah, right here. 4 for the frame, you know, head, core, arms, legs. 3 internal parts for customizing fire control system, boosters, and then the big thing was the expansion item, which we saw as well. And then 4 more for the weapons for each of the back areas, and then obviously the hands and frame areas and stuff. So yeah, yeah, they, you know, pretty much. As a Armored Core fan myself, I can still pretty much see all the DNA they were talking about from the gameplay and the other stuff, other interviews and articles and stuff like that came out, just saying like, hey, yeah, we're leaving this as a very missionized structure. Like I said, there's honestly not a whole lot to this article. Is that it? Let me see. I think there's something else. But yeah, just as far as, yeah, there's honestly wasn't a whole lot to this. Like I said, good images, but if you were let me go back. Okay, yeah, that was it. Yeah, if you're looking for some more amplifying information and stuff, you might be able to find something I missed, but honestly it was at best. I hate to say that. I love the images, a lot of good images on here, see the start screen and all that, but yeah, it's just okay. There, I understand what this article is meant to do. I understand who this article is meant for. I know it's not for us hardcore players at all. I'm gonna state that again. This article is not for us hardcore players at all. It is for somebody, some Joe Schmo who doesn't know anything about Armored Core, and they do, like I said, first part of this article is just covering generalized, like, this is from Soft, here's their history of video games, here's the history of the Soulsborne games, if you've ever heard of that. Then it talks about, okay, here's their latest game, Armored Core, here's some things you can kind of expect, but no really new amplified information. Yeah, it's just okay, guys, at best. So that's all I have to say. I'm not gonna take any more time. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Make sure y'all hit the buttons, like, subscribe, all that jazz. Yeah, I'm also releasing my Armored Core 5 videos and my Armored Core Verdict Day videos as well, so we'll look for those to drop on my channel. And yeah, that's about it. Well, other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host that be doing the most, Mr. Too Good, and I'll catch y'all next time. Y'all be safe, y'all be easy. Peace.